my fellow citizens. At this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations.
Everyone's gonna want to have one of these.
Hey, y'all from the outside.
Do you have a seat over in that chair?
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, mom's spaghetti.
Look at
That's hot.
She's as nasty as you are.
Hello.
Dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded.
We're ashamed the President of the United States is here.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
But I am a gay American.
You're fired.
Pizza time.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
It's time to do. It's over 9,000!
I represent the rent. It's too damn.
As a college graduate, Chris had an opportunity to start his career in computer drafting. Instead, Chris decided to spend more time on his hobbies, finding a boyfriend-free girl, and the Sonichu comic series. Sonichu Issue 3 was released after Issue 4. We are introduced to a number of new and important characters. When the original Sonichu was created, 5 eggs were launched into various locations across the world. Wild Sonichu is born in a jungle. Bubbles Rosechu hatches in the ocean. Angelica Rosechu is born on the doorstep of a church and is raised by nuns. Punchy Sonichu is born in a dojo and learns martial arts. Magi-chan Sonichu is born in a cave and is discovered by Mewtwo, who teaches him psychic abilities and meditation. Black Sonichu steals a sunstone using a hoverboard. He is attacked by a bird and chased into the paths of each newly introduced hedgehog. Together, each of these Sonichus make up the chaotic combo. Sonichu shows up to help, and together they fight Blachu and temporarily knock him out, getting a high score of 500,000 SCU. Chris's friend Anna McLaren moved to Salt Lake City in Utah shortly after her 20th birthday. They stayed in contact with each other through email and remained long-distance friends. In an effort to make friends closer to home, Chris began spending more time at the game place, where he would play Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card games. In 2007, Chris emailed his favourite school teacher, Mrs. Sanford, to talk about an autobiographical DVD he was trying to produce. Hey Mrs. Sanford, I'm delighted to hear from you as well, and it is also good to know that you are still residing at that address. The DVD is under production, to be completed a few days after February 24th, 2007, my 25th birthday. Yay! As for what happened during PVCC, in a nutshell, about midsummer 2003, I've realised upon revelation that I needed a girlfriend to make into a sweetheart from the ground up. So, with a sign, which I've later realised that it made me look slow-minded, the R word, I've started my enduring love quest. The Dean of Student Services, Mary Lee Walsh, came out and tore at my sign right in front of me and said, "You're not going to get a girlfriend this way, or anyway." That bitch shattered my heart and murdered my soul. And it wasn't just her. The policeman imposters in brown, white and red, aka the Jerkops, also seriously indented the impression that Virginia is for virgins, not lovers. Chris goes on to mention a girl. But it has a happy ending. In mid-2005, when I've started playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, I met this girl who, upon numerous conversations, art sharing and secret confidence, I've grown fond of, and my heart and soul recovered from the serious emotional and physical pain I've endured. Although, she's not interested in a serious relationship, I still am fond of her, and I'm hoping that she may have a change of heart. The girl Chris mentioned was named Megan Schroeder. At some point in 2004, Chris met Megan at the game place, and through their mutual interest in Yu-Gi-Oh!, they became friends. They exchanged emails, and Chris started taking interest in her other hobbies as well, such as My Little Pony and Sailor Moon. Chris was well ahead of the curve in his fascination with My Little Pony, predating the Brony fandom by some 5 years. They started out as genuine friends, but by the end of 2005, Chris began making unwanted advances towards Megan. In November 2005, he asked for her phone number through email. Megan responded, "No offense, but I never give my number out. It's certainly nothing directed at you, but I just don't enjoy talking on the phone either. Besides, we live like right down the street from the park, so it's like 2 minutes away on bike." At some point in December, Chris apparently attempted to kiss Megan. Although I really don't mean to be cold, but please don't try and advance on kissing me, please. The truth is, I don't want a boyfriend because I don't desire and idolise boys like other girls. I enjoy being independent, so you see what I mean? It's certainly nothing personal towards you, I'm just a girl who doesn't care about loving guys. That doesn't mean I can't be friends with them, though. A few months later, in May of 2006, Chris still hadn't given up. I'm not saying I don't like you, I just don't care for guys in that kind of relationship matter. But that doesn't mean I don't care, period. I care because we are friends, and I prefer to have guys only as friends because they are good companions and comrades. I never cared about having a boyfriend, I doubt I will. So I hope you understand that now. And maybe you know now why I don't like touchy-feely situations. But I enjoy being friends. By the time June rolled around, Chris still wouldn't take the hint. I've told you many times I don't want a serious relationship with you or any other guy for that matter. And so you really need to give up on me, because it'll only make you miserable. You see, instead of spending all your energy looking for a girlfriend, you should lay back, take it easy, and open up. Then I think someone will show. You should try not to act so desperate. The way you spell it out and advertise yourself, passing girls may think it's strange behaviour. Of course, I understand your situation, but other people don't, and they may think, please don't get upset, that you're some kind of lech or molester. I know you're not, but you see where I'm coming from. 2 weeks later, Chris continued to make Megan uncomfortable. Yeah, although I'm not angry at you, I'm a little disappointed at your behaviour. I'm really sorry this may sound harsh, but it's 100% the truth about how I feel, okay? I know you know I hate guys and I hate love, because I told you a million times, so why do you keep getting too close and touching me? I really don't like it at all. I know you said because you have feelings for me and it's hard for you, but I'm sorry if this sounds mean. You really need to try and get over it. If you keep hanging on like that to someone who doesn't love you back, well, it'll only make you more miserable. You need to just accept the fact that I don't and probably will never love you, so you should just take a rejuvenating breath and move on. And 2 weeks after that, I'm just a little mad that I have to keep telling you to please stop touching me. It's like you're not wanting to listen to me. I tell you, then you say okay, but eventually you're back to the same tricks, and this time I really mean it. Even my other friends don't like it, and think it's weird. So once and for all, could you please stop? You know I don't like it, so why do you keep doing it? It's not like you're gonna try and soften me or something. So I don't want to have to tell you again, or I might get really angry, because you know unwanted remarks or advances to a girl is some and I don't take that lightly, okay? So can you understand now? Around this time in June, Chris would release Sonichu Issue 5 to his website. This comic would include even more elements from Chris's personal life, now featuring multiple characters clearly based on Megan Schroeder. Episode 12 depicts the wedding of his childhood friend Sarah Hammer to a man named William Spicer. Chris reveals that he no longer loves Sarah, despite them being destined lovers in previous episodes, and has instead found a new, even stronger love interest. A jealous Wesley Sonichu abducts Sarah before she can finish her vows, and Chris challenges him to a duel. Sailor Megtune and Magagula Skunk, both inspired by Megan Schroeder, show up to help Chris Chan fight. After they defeat Wesley, Sarah thanks Chris for being her friend and wishes him good luck on attaining Megan's love. Chris catches the bride's bouquet, implying that his own marriage isn't far off. In episode 13, Chris and Sonichu talk candidly about his attraction to Megan at the Quickville Mall. She's the sweetest, and she has the right spunk amount among all ladies. I've been very patient with Meg Chan by being a kind and understanding friend for her, giving her time and space, helping her feel good. She's warming up to me. Not only that, but with each amount of time I spend with her personally, with each of her warm, tender smiles, and with each loving thought about her, my heart grows fonder with the true love I feel for Megan Schroeder. At least, she knows that I have those feelings for her. I had the guts to tell her personally. Suddenly, the radio announces that Mary Lee Walsh has banned love across the city. Chris is enraged by this and summons the chaotic combo, Rose Chew, Sailor Megtune, Magagula Skunk, and his make-believe sister named Crystal, to fight Mary Lee Walsh and an army of jerk-ops. Chris nearly gets trapped in a dark mirror, but at the last second, Crystal switches places with him. Megtune sobs into Chris's chest because she almost lost him. The comic ends with a disclaimer that the final embrace didn't actually happen and that it was just wishful thinking. Chris completed his DVD titled Yep, I'm on TV just before his birthday, as promised in the email to Mrs. Sanford. The DVD begins with an 8-minute trailer for itself, followed by dozens of videos and photographs documenting Chris's life up until this point. Finally, we end on Christian Weston Chandler's Future Message. This segment was meant to be shown to high school students across America, as a way for Chris to impart the many life lessons he had learned to a younger generation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. dudes of all teenagers, as well as the gals. My name is Christian Chandler. I am here, and y'all are there. This message is for everyone of the present and the future beyond this date, February 24th, 2007. My birthday, my 25th birthday. I am high-functioning autistic, and in my 25 years, I have seen and learned so much. And today, I intended to share some wise words that I hope each and every one of you will take to heart and allow for yourself and everyone else a better, brighter future. You should also be able to try something for yourself before forming praise or detest of it. As long as those things will not harm you or shorten your lifetime in any way, it's totally cool. What is totally not cool, though, is thinking or doing these things which are very harmful to you and definitely will gross out those around you that don't do it, because I haven't done it and I don't like it doing either of them. You should avoid at all costs smoking, drinking alcohol, and intaking similar icky, dangerous stuff. And smoking will eventually cause cancer, and you'll be more likely to get heart attack, viruses, and your life will be cut drastically short. They don't call cigarettes and cigars death sticks for nothing other than killing you slowly. If I could, I would take every last ounce of tobacco, put them on a rocket, and shoot them up to the moon. And I haven't done either one, and look at me now, I'm fit as a fiddle, and I'm living 25, hoping to live on to be about 80 to 100. And hopefully y'all will get a chance to get up to that ripe old age as well. Now, among the better things you should definitely try before despising is some of the hobbies of those of your own opposite gender. Like, for example, if you're a young gentleman, I recommend buying yourself a My Little Pony figure of your favorite color or whatever. Now, stroking the hair of said pony is very relaxing and therapeutic, and also rubbing it against your cheek. That's nice. Now, for the ladies, I recommend a good old Autobot from Transformers, because you can get to learn how to examine the mechanics and variations of each and every, of the Autobot you have, like you would learn how a man works, and it'll allow you to feel more comfortable in approaching and talking to that boy you've been flirting from a distance, or just been flirting with from a distance, and hopefully all you have to do is just end up and say hello. It's not so hard. All you have to do is say hello to the man, ladies, that's all. And everything will just get rolling from there. Also, keep in mind that while you're playing with these things, you should keep in mind of what your true original gender is. Because it's like you're learning about that girl you want to take on a date, young man. Or likewise, you feel more comfortable to approach that boy just saying hello that you've been checking out from a distance, young lady. And hopefully in due time or now, each and every one of you will stay straight. Girl for boy, boy for girl. Everything else is vice, as said by Dr. Kinsey. And now, I leave you with the lessons that I hope you have learned from my message. You should stay in school, learn as you much, and try before you praise or despise. Never smoke, never drink, never worry about how others think of you when you do things, or when you play with things that may not seem like you or whatever. Don't be afraid to approach those of your opposite gender. And most importantly, please stay straight. I am Christian Weston Chandler. Live long and shine on in your very own unique way. War is never the answer. Peace is. Never fight. Compliments will get you fuzzy wuzzies. War gets you prickly wicklies, as well as punches that get you those too. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
In the next issue of Sonichu, Chris and his hedgehog friends decide that they need the 7 Sonichu balls to rescue Crystal, who is still captured by Mary Lee Walsh. The Sonichu form of Relnak Notsu Natesurk traps Chris in a dark dimension, Nate Serk is drawn differently from his initial appearance, and now exists as an openly homosexual, promiscuous, evil twin to Christian. Chris and Nate Serk fight each other, eventually ending up in the Manchester High School gym. Chris is knocked out, but before Nate Serk can finish Chris off, a basketball hits him in the face, nearly killing him. Chris awakens to Megan Schroeder, and is told that he was saved by Bionic the Hedgehog, Chris's very first original character. By 2007, Megan was very aware of her portrayal in the Son Issue comics. She emailed Chris on March 6th with a request. Whether or not you've noticed, none of my original female characters have breasts. I wish to have no visible you-know-whats, please. I just wanted to share with you where I stand when I create characters. Shortly afterwards, she begs Chris once again to stop touching her. Please, minimize your touchiness. You know well I dislike it, and I keep reminding you. Understand I'm not angry, but annoyed and a bit disappointed. I remember you said you'd never do it again, and yet, I know you're just being friendly and all, but I really hate being touched by anyone. On May 8th, 2007, Chris created his official Son Issue YouTube channel and uploaded some of his past videos. In June, Chris would upload his entry into the Chop Chop Master Onion's Rap Showdown contest for the Parappa the Rapper video game.
PSP, I like the rap. I play with the rapper, I go with you now. The only song I know is Master Onion, which I got from a demo I borrowed from my friend Megan. Duck, duck, yup, yup. Turn, and pose, pose. Turn and pose, turn and pose. Jump and pose, jump, pose. Come on now, watch it follow my word. Because it's almost done, it'll make things worse. Na-na-na-na-na-na. Rap, rap, rap. That's a rap.
The winner would get 2 PSPs and an all expenses paid trip to Seattle for the 2007 Penny Arcade Expo. If he won, Chris intended on bringing Megan with him on his trip to Seattle. Because of the low number of entries into the contest, Chris ended up in the top 10. The winner would be decided through a vote in the PlayStation Underground website. And so, Chris began campaigning for himself. He wrote ads on his website and social media profiles. He emailed people on his contacts and started handing out a flyer at the game place. He even created dummy PlayStation Network accounts to vote for himself and wrote a fake review on the PSN blog. Such honesty of his situation and devotion for his lucky girlfriend adds great emotions to his performance. As this brave autistic warrior so creatively put it at the end, rap, 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 that's a wrap. Truly the cherry on top of the sundae. A perfect score of 5 out of 5 stars for his marvellous effort, and smiling at knowing he looked a bit stupid. When the voting ended, Chris made another blog post. The polls are closed, and I am anxious to find out if I'm number 1 of the rappers or not. I really want that trip to Seattle, so I can be with my sweet Megan longer than usual, and have fun together. I love her so much. In June, Megan took a trip to Kentucky with her family. She was away from her PC during this time, but that did not stop Chris from attempting to communicate through email. I hope that you're able to get my messages over in Kentucky. By the way, which time zone are you in, Central or Eastern? That will matter to when you'd like me to visit you, open my gate. I miss you a lot, but I'm okay. I still get a sweet, happy feeling each time I think of your fun wit, your charms, your pretty face, and the fun you and I have shared so far. I hope you and your family are safe and doing well. I hope to hear from you soon, and I will send another message later on. Megan didn't reply, so 3 days later, Chris sent another email. I'm guessing you all have been busy, getting settled and enrolling John and whatnot, but I would appreciate a reply soon. He lists all of the Soul Calibur cards he picked up, and talks about the Transformer movie. Well, I have things to do, but I hope you're all doing well in Kentucky, and I miss you, sweetie. Please reply soon. This went on for a month, with Chris emailing Megan every few days, never receiving a response. Aside from all that, I think fondly of you lots, and I count down the days until you and your family return, as well as an email from you. I miss you so much, and I hope you're all well and safe. I wish I could hear from you. I hope you're all doing well. I will send another email. I'm still thinking of you sweetly and fondly. It is good. I long to see you again at the game place, and welcome you back with open arms. I sometimes feel lonely, but it is so worth the wait just to be close to you. I like you. Faithfully yours, Chris Chan. On July 18th, Chris told Megan about the Parappa the Rapper contest. It would be so awesome if I won the grand prize, a trip for 2 to Seattle, Washington for the Penny Arcade Expo, and I couldn't think of anyone better to be there with me than you. But given you're currently being in Kentucky, and if you'll come back home that soon, it could be iffy. On July 23rd, Chris wishes Megan a happy birthday, but he also mentions the contest again. I'd really like to win that trip and those PSPs so I can share the experience with you, my closest, sweetest friend. Who knows? Maybe I can wing it for good results. July 28th, he continues to talk about the contest. I fantasy you and me taking the trip, having fun at the Penny Arcade Expo, maybe take a tour of the Nintendo of America company, playing Guitar Hero with you on my PS3 in our hotel room, and basically just being with you, period. I'll be happier when you're standing in front of me again, safe and sound. That's enough from my heart. Blush. For a while. My sweet friend. I'll email you again soon. On August 3rd, Chris found out they had lost the Chop Chop Master Onions rap showdown to an entry from Adam Stackhouse.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour to the bowl.
Chris was furious. He wrote an angry email to Sony executives. In addition to my message on your machine, I really wanted that trip so I could have a chance to impress my sweetest Megan and possibly fulfill my dream of getting married and soon have a daughter named Crystal. Yet now I, a frustrated, high-functioning, autistic 25-year-old virgin, have been balls broken like I have through a big chunk of my life in America's favourite game, Kick the Autistic. I had my fantasies of having fun with Megan, taking her to a really extravagant destination. I'm not rich. Taking a long-wanted tour of the Nintendo of America company tour with her, playing Guitar Hero against the guy in the parappa costume, jamming with Megan in the hotel room, and possibly our first time in the bed. Life can be so unfair and f***ing corrupt. The following day, Chris sent a follow-up email with a request that Adam Stackhouse and many of the other entries be disqualified for allegedly breaking various rules of the competition. Chris also uploaded a video of himself shooting a picture of Adam Stackhouse with a toy gun.
And that is how angry I am at Adam Stackhouse, Apperluski, Rudell, and Surya Butchwald. They should have been disqualified because they had music and more than one person in their Freakazoid videos.
Sony refused to change the results of the contest. On August 3rd, Chris sent another email to an unresponsive Megan, letting her know the outcome of the contest. I am angry, depressed, and lonesome, all simultaneously. I worked so hard. I sent like over 500 messages between MySpace, PlayStation Network, and AOL, and I even made up over 120 dummy email accounts to match with their dummy PlayStation accounts so I could stuff the ballot. I really wanted to take you somewhere fun and exciting so you and I could be together for longer than usual. So much effort, rapping and dancing with goofy effects to even be considered, spreading the word as far and wide as possible, wasted. I did it all for you, Megan. I had you in my heart as I chopped the onion a la mode dance. I gave so much energy, even had the gut virus for a couple of days. Crazy, I guess. Anyway, I'm not in such a delightful mood at this time. It may take a few days or so for me to recover. Then again, you make me feel happy. I just realised that you were, and still are, a continuing inspiration for me. I looked at you in our photo ever since you left for Kentucky, and I still get a happy feeling. From a feeling of having you to fall on when I feel low. You're such a delightful listener, and you are truly intelligent when you talk about what interests you and such. I'm so delighted to have you in my life, and I appreciate you every day. Soon after, Megan returned from her trip to find at least a dozen unanswered emails from Chris. On August 8th, she finally responded. I haven't been checking my email until recently, and I just want to say that your behaviour has irritated me for the last time. First, I'll start off with saying that I'm glad you didn't win the contest, because I have no interest in going on a trip alone with someone who can't keep his hands off me. I'm not your girlfriend, and I never will be. When I say don't touch me, that means don't touch me. What may seem friendly to you is to me. You whine that you're just being friendly, but you obviously have no consideration for my feelings. Also, I can't say I like how you use my photo in your video and on the cover of your comic book. I want them removed from the internet immediately. And I don't like your Megan obsession. I don't like being a character in your comics. I don't like how you made me a character in Soul Calibur and Animal Crossing. That kind of behaviour really freaks me out. With that all said, we're down to two options. A, we remain friends and only friends, period. As in, no more touching me, following me, asking me personal questions, and giving me things. We can still battle and trade cards and talk. Or B, never see me again. Chris replied immediately. Megan, sweetie, I never said anything about you being my girlfriend. In the video, I said, the only song I know is Master Onion, which I got from a demo I borrowed from my friend, Megan. I truly care about your feelings, and I am 500 times sorry. I never meant anything. Granted that I have had 1 or 2 fantasies before, but I sincerely would never intentionally do anything of the sort with you without your consent. You mean so much to me. As you're aware, I'm guessing, I do not have many gal pals in or around Charlottesville, and I treasure having you in my life. And as my closest, sweetest friend I could ever have in this one-horse, virgin-only state. If I lost you, it would totally shatter my heart, my soul, my being. I cannot afford to lose you. I need you. Having you in my life and as my gal pal is essentially what keeps me from reverting to a sad, lonely, depressed, apocalyptic state like I have experienced before when that witch of a PVCC, Mary Lee Walsh, shattered my heart and soul when I was searching for a boyfriend-free, caring, smoke-free, non-alcoholic white girl to be my friend, and, over time, maybe grow into a sweetheart. Even right now, as I type this email, I feel like I have been torn vertically in two, and I'm typing on a keyboard that has been turned upwardly crooked from being banged against a raised knee. It really hurts. Megan, I love you. I gotta go. Chris edited his video the following day to remove the picture of Megan. 5 days later, Chris still hadn't heard from Megan, so he sent a follow-up email. I can't apologise enough for hurting you in the way I did with my jealousy over the rule-violating winner, for my lonely, wandering hands wanting to feel your gentle and spunky soul, for fighting over such trivial gestures that some others were permitted to share with you, whereas you wouldn't permit me to for your reasons. Truly, I would fall into an infinite sinkhole of depression if I lost you from my life, and it would be an unbearable tragedy. Megan didn't reply, but the two met again at the game place for their usual Friday hangouts, and seemingly patched things over. By the end of August, they resumed their regular email correspondence, but predictably, Chris soon defaulted back to his obsessive state. On October 20th, Chris became jealous of one of Megan's male friends and sent the following email. The hugging was one thing, but when I heard the smack of your kiss on his cheek, it started a chain reaction in my head from oh my god to simultaneous infuriation and jealousy. I assure you that I would not do anything extreme to Christopher. Originally, I was not fond of him because it was obvious that he was a homo. Yes, I am a homophobe. I fear them all, and I fear the tormenting temptations of falling off the straight path. But then I mentally, sometimes from a DVD, and if you'll pardon the expression, shove some pussy in my face. I tell you what, if I ever stoop down to changing my path, I might as well would get a gender change operation. I've seen the episode of South Park where Mr. Garrison had that operation. They showed the gruesome details. Ugh. I was programmed to be more favourable towards women over those of my gender. With the infinitely high boyfriend factor, I'm not fond of about 99.99999999996% of the total male population, with a margin of error of the 4 billionth of a percent for about 100 men, of whom are okay acquaintances. Those doofs get all the luck, having a sweetheart to care for and to be cared from, getting all the hugs, kisses and emotional support, and the security of a solid future without loneliness and with love and children. And besides that, my autism is not much help on the programming of my mind. Oh my life.
Chocolate rain.
Leave Benny alone! Whoa!
I said what in the butt. I said what.
I like turtles. Everywhere, like, such as, and...
I can't believe you've done this.
On October 26th, 2007, Chris Chan was taking part in his usual Friday Pokemon battles at the game place. An onlooker decided to take a covert photograph of Chris and posted it to the infamous online image board, 4chan. The following day, a user on the Something Awful forums shared Chris's website and began a discussion around his love quest. Others joined in, providing their own knowledge and experiences relating to Chris. Over the next few days, the story of Chris Chan and Sonichu began to spread throughout various internet forums. As he gained notoriety, people started creating their own absurd and offensive artwork based on Chris's original characters. By November 3rd, someone created an article about Chris on the Encyclopedia Dramatica, a satirical Wikipedia-style website centered around troll culture. That same day, a 4chan user named Evan Christopher George decided to send a collection of fan art to Chris over email. Unsurprisingly, Chris responded. Thank you for your fan art contributions. In constructive criticism, I like the one with me in the girlfriend auditions, as well as my glaring in the eyes of the blue guy, but I'm feeling great detest towards the other two. Sonichu and I are not of that nature at all. If you would like to make it up to me though, please draw a strip of Rosechew stripping for Sonichu, and have him f*** her, and draw Rosechew against the other and this hooks. I am straight, damn it. I want to be veered in any other disgustingly grotesque direction. Again, most nasty fan arts are not appreciated at all. Please feel free to share that quote with the rest of the fans. Evan replied with a requested comic strip, but decided to give Rosechew a large ejaculating penis, much to Chris's disgust. Do me a favour, draw a vagina on my Rosechew. Rosechew is a girl. She never had a freaking pickle. If I see one more freaking pickle, and you may spread this quote to other adult fan artists, I will create you in Soul Calibur 3 and beat you up like there's no tomorrow. On November 3rd, Chris emailed Megan about his newfound internet fame. I got this email earlier that had a set of 4 fan art of Sonichu and me, while I enjoyed more the spoof of me sitting out by a box on the sidewalk, girlfriend auditions, and the one of me glaring in the eyes of the blue hedgehog in armour. The other 2 in that set of 4 freaked, creeped, and scared the crap out of my head. A lot worse than my freak out over you on Christopher's lap last night. Please keep that in private. In other words, get a room. I sent him a reply with respective criticism. I was infuriated. But the attention didn't stop there. Around this time, Chris was contacted by a man named Joshua Martinez, who lived nearby, and had actually met Chris as a child while they both attended speech therapy. Joshua had connections to the film industry and convinced Chris that he could set him up on a date with an actress. Chris explained the situation in an email to his long-distance friend, Anna McLaren. Joshua found a girl who was interested in me, after reading about me in my MySpace profile at least. Her name is Lori Lopez. I chatted with her through AOL Instant Message last night. She was really sweet, and not only did I have a great time getting to know her, but, blush, I got turned on. I know that she works at a car lot, I think. She's 23, brunette, brown eyes, and she is a mix of American and Spanish. If you watch the movie Into the Blue, the starring woman, Jessica Alba, is an American-Spanish mix as well. He mentioned this potential girlfriend to Megan as well. P.S. This is Lori, the girl my buddy Joshua is hooking me up with. She had it done at JMU, that's why it has her name on it. He included a photograph of whom he assumed was Lori. In reality, it was a picture of Vanessa Hudgens, known for her role in the High School Musical franchise. Eventually, Josh grew bored of catfishing and told Chris that Lori Lopez had fallen in love with him instead. Chris soon discovered the Encyclopedia Dramatica page, which was highly critical of his past behaviour. This sudden internet fame gave Chris the impression that his Sonichu comic series had a legitimate and rapidly growing fanbase that simply misunderstood his intentions. On November 7th, Chris uploaded a video to YouTube to defend himself and address his fans.
It has come to my attention that I have a lot more fans of my Electric Hedgehog Pokemon Sonichu than I had originally thought. And I thank each and every one of you for your support. And I will draw more comics when I get some positive inspiration or when I feel like it. After all, everybody has a life, so do I have a life. But I would like to humbly apologize for appearing to be some kind of sleaze, troll, badass, or whatever adjectives, good or explicit, you may feel about me. Please understand, I am a 25-year-old high-functioning autistic male with a simple, peaceful dream of becoming a father of a sweet, little pretty girl who I will doubly name Crystal Weston Chandler. Crystal, a name that sounds similar to mine, but it has a nice ring to it, and it's also similar to the illustrious metal that is mined from the Earth's ground.
Chris eventually moved on to the subject of his love quest.
I'm telling you right now, all I did was sit around with a sign by my side that said I was looking for a boyfriend-free girl, 1825, yada yada yada. And I did all that because I have feared rejection and the infinitely high boyfriend factor, because you cannot tell which ladies are paired up and which are not And wedding rings, that's just a whole different story because they're married. Because it's not like you give every woman a ring who's already paired up. This is one perspective. So please understand, I am not a violent person. I'm decent. I come from a caring, loving pair of parents. I'm kind, considerate. I will respect your space and your feelings ever so much. I apologize that I appear to be a slow-minded person. I'm sorry for reflecting any negative feelings towards each of you that have felt them, including those who have had such feelings they have created demeaning web pages. All I ask, those people who are watching this right now, is just take them down, please. I'm asking, as an innocent victim of misunderstanding, just take down your web pages or add them to positively better reflect my feelings as an individual, as a person, as a man who has suffered like most everybody in this world that we all live in. Thank you very much for your time and listening, and please remember, I'm an innocent person, just like most every one of you. I've had my faults, I've had my share of bad times, I have my share of good times. Please understand that. Thank you again. Take care.
With his public announcement, Chris proved to the trolls that he could be easily provoked. When the Encyclopedia Dramatica did not get removed from the internet, Chris began making edits to the page himself. Using a tactic he called information overload, Chris would intentionally spam his ED page with highly personal information in an attempt to overwhelm the reader. In one instance, he unwittingly revealed that he owned a sex doll named Kimmy. In an effort to prove his heterosexuality, Chris began uploading pornographic images of his original characters to contrast the homoerotic drawings created by his trolls. One image involved Chris pleasuring an unidentified woman with the subtitle, "Your sister has come for me." ED users reasonably assumed that this was a drawing of Chris engaging in incest with his make-believe sister, Crystal. At some point in early 2008, Chris was kicked out of his church after the pastor discovered his online content. As a result, he transferred to Wesley Memorial United Methodist Church. On March 4th, Megan emailed Chris. "I'm sorry to hear about the church thing. I mean, God forgives and gives second chances. Some people just aren't meant to work under his name, like all the priests who abuse young boys. Yeah, that internet thing is getting very much out of hand, and would like to ask if you could please take down or remove anything that has to do with me from any of your websites. I don't want to appear on those sites as well." But by March 12th, Megan decided to visit the ED page, possibly to confirm that there were no images of herself. She happened upon the drawing of Chris pleasuring a mystery woman, and quickly realised that the woman in the drawing was none other than herself. Megan was shocked and disgusted. Chris tried to apologise over email. "I've really shot myself in the foot, and I am sorry. Not only am I mad at myself for being such a complete enraged a-hole, but my rage against those jerks who put up that page in the first place arose with greater flame because my closest friend got hurt emotionally. That's you. I will see to that website's demise, or my name isn't Christian Weston Chandler. Megan, I'm sorry for hurting you. 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 Megan, But Megan had finally reached the limits of her patience. I'm very much scarred by that image, and it will never leave me. And I can't decide what's worse, the image in general or the fact you intentionally drew it and gave it to the webmaster for that site you hate so much. Not only have you poured gas on the fire by doing that, but you have also embarrassed and humiliated me, and degraded and demeaned me, whether you realise it or not. I know how it feels to be alone, but I can't keep throwing away my pride little by little just to keep you satisfied. You know what I mean? There has to be an enough is enough at some point. And I cannot continue to disgrace myself by forgiving things that I never find forgivable in the first place. I'd like for you to just completely leave me alone for a while, until I can sort things out myself, you understand? It's not like I hate you, but I don't see you in the same light anymore. So just leave me be for a while, let me try and recuperate with my other friends, and maybe we can just start from scratch sometime." Chris ignored Megan's request to be left alone, and completely misunderstood why she was so offended. "I understand. You may or may not have had much exposure to sexual images as I've had, so the idea of a now, which was the actor on there, as part of outer course versus intercourse, was a surprise to you. I'm sorry. If it helps put things in perspective, I can recommend finding information on the internet through this educational website I found, through adameve.com. Or I recommend renting The 40-Year-Old Virgin. That movie touches on some issues around sex, and how it can really frustrate the older virgin who hasn't had the pleasure yet. Or I can loan you my copy of The 40-Year-Old Virgin. The point is, allowing yourself more exposure to sex acts to make yourself feel more comfortable with the fact of life. As for the drawings, while I have shoved the text information down their throat in an attempt to drown them in submission, there were too many images of penises, yuck, on there. I drew drawings promoting vaginas to go against those dickheads. I did the drawing of Sonichu from Rosechu. I did the drawing of Bubbles getting it from Black Sonichu. I had the idea pairing them up in the comic book anyway. I did the drawings of Angelica and Mary Lee Walsh, that witch hag, and I did draw the drawing of me giving you a nap from among my adult fantasies, with your eyes censored to conceal your identity. It was a massive step outside my boundaries, and I did it out of anger, and I regret having done it, and I'm really, really sorry. But we all do things in the heat of anger, and or out of our boundaries, that we end up regretting later. Megan, sweetheart, I will give you as much space as you need during your time of recovery, and learning how to cope with it, and put it into your own perspective. But please remember, I will always worry about you, and even though you may not feel the same about me as you did before, I still care and love you very much. Chris removed all mention of Megan on the ED page, but instead of removing the drawing in question, he simply zoomed in on the crotch area. This only served to further offend Megan. Look, my main issue is not the website itself, it's just the fact that you drew those weird pictures. Okay, so instead of removing that one completely, you just enlarged my crotch. Thanks a lot. Why didn't you just remove it? Well, I'm sorry, but that just makes me more angry in a way. It's not the actual sex act that traumatizes me, it's the fact that you fantasize doing such things to me when you know I would never. It's like, how do I know you're not going to abduct me or such? It creeps me out you have such thoughts about me. It's like you're stalking me, so you really need to back off. I mean, thinking like that is one thing, though disturbing as well, but sitting down and actually drawing a detailed image of it is even worse. I don't like being around people like that at all. P.S. I think it's rather amusing how you complain of these people defiling you. Yes, many of the posts are ridiculous, but you have defiled Mary Lee Walsh and our wonderful security officers who were simply doing their job. Then you defiled me and lied about it. You need to stop with this mindset that the whole world is against you and start taking some responsibility for once. Example, it's wrong to hate these people when you broke the rule by soliciting and loitering. Hey, at least they're doing their job and I support that. Chris then came up with a more disturbing explanation for the drawing, believing it would somehow absolve him. As for the drawing itself, I've realised that it was not done only out of inspired fantasy, angst against ED and love for you, but also a major release for my crazy mixed up hormones. If I didn't have the foresight to put my pent up frustration and feelings in the form of something, I might have become an abusive maniac. So thank God for allowing me to release my bottled up frustrations in a more positive, yet not so politically correct, and not physically hurting others, method. I'm sorry, Megan, for the massive warfare I've wrought against you and me in a damn fucktarded release of my damn hormones. Megan, I'm sorry for uploading the drawing, and I really wish I could go back in time and stop myself from making the mistake. Yet, I do not regret drawing the drawing, because if I hadn't released my frustrations in the creative sense, I might actually have done something really dumb and stupid. For the sake of our friendship, Megan, please just forget about the dang webpage. Put it behind you and let's resume our good friendship like the whole mess never happened. I still love you, Megan, and I honestly care and worry about you from my heart. Megan had heard enough. Well, first of all, I can't put this behind me because I don't feel comfortable around you anymore, especially since you said you drew that so you wouldn't do anything stupid. What does that mean? Abducting me and hear me? I'm afraid I can't trust you anymore. Megan cut off all email contact with Chris after this point. They both continued to hang out at the game place on Fridays, but Megan avoided Chris entirely. By the summer of 2008, Chris's behaviour at the game place became intolerable. He was openly racist and homophobic to other customers. He would often be loud and obnoxious as well, sometimes singing while he played video games, or angrily shouting whenever he lost a card game. As a result, the store manager, Michael Snyder, banned Chris from the game place for 2 weeks. Chris claims that Megan was there the day he was banned, but refused to speak up for him. Shortly after this ban was lifted, Chris got into a heated argument with some children at the game place over a video game. This caused Michael Snyder to ban him once again, permanently this time. Chris, never backing down from a fight, brought his mother to the store to help argue his case, But Michael Snyder wouldn't be swayed and called the police when they refused to leave. Chris would never be allowed back into the game place and likely never saw Megan Schroeder again. On August 3rd, Chris uploaded another video message expressing his frustration at the growing number of internet trolls.
Y'all should know me by now, but if you don't, I am Christian Weston Chandler, the original creator of Saichu, the Electric Hedgehog Pokemon, back on March 17th, 2000. Any days earlier are void. I present this open message because I have a whole bunch of people on the internet give me hate, show me a lot of hate, and I do not appreciate it. It takes me off. You're laughing at somebody else's pain and torture, and worse off, tearing the heart and soul and emotions of the innocent man. The innocent, still 26-year-old virgin. Not only that, but I have so many lonely nights and stress that you cannot just imagine it. Y'all think I'm just a sap, a chump, dumbass, whatever you may think. But you know what? You, every last one of you who has expressed hate against me, you're the shitheads. Also, the hatred I'm getting from every last one of you who has contributed to that Encyclopedia Dramatica webpage, and every other forum, internet document, lewdly drawn pictures with dicks. I love dykes. Dykes. China. If I see a dick, I just look away with a moment of being freaked out. Every one of you who thinks I'm homo and calls me that because I am not, I'm straight. I'm straight. You're the homos. Every last one of you. Also, every last one of you who thinks that I am similar to that of that senile old man in Family Guy, you're the pedophiles. I am not a pedofork, you dorks! Now, as for the other serious note, I just have not been feeling the inspiration to draw, to color, because the loneliness, I cannot stand that. And emailing me pictures is not going to get any of you any further conclusion to, will Crystal get out of the mirror? Will the 7 Saichu balls be collected? Will I ever find my sweetheart? And am I or Megan Schroeder still an iron? Which, by the way, she broke up with me so much long ago because the contributors to that ED page, you promoted such twists and turns to everything I have said and drawn and written and whatnot. You broke up the best friendship, the best relationship, the closest I could ever have in this pitiful adult life. You did it! Every last one of you!
Chris then publicly humiliated Megan once again by revealing the true identity of the woman in his pornographic drawing.
And by the way, that is not Crystal, whose eyes are censored, that is Megan! And just for taking it up and twisting it around as such. If I ever do find the one that is to be my sweetheart, I will give her such care, such tenderness, such love. We get around to hanky-panky, that's fine, that's good. We get married. I will have my God-called daughter. She will be taken care of lovingly. Those of you who mocked me otherwise with such frivolous, lucrative adultery, if I ever hear any more new stuff, it will weigh on your conscience with me tearing at your souls emotionally. I'll leave you with any other thoughts that you may have. But if you dare twist these words around, that will weigh worse on your conscience. The words that I provide from sound mind and heart, it will weigh heavily on you. It will weigh heavily on you.
A few days later, he uploaded another video, attempting to mobilize his fans against the ED page.
Attention, all SciTube fans on the internet who do not hate me, Christian Weston Chandler. For I have an important message for y'all. If y'all would actually like me to bring up new stuff for SciTube and conclude the stories, you can do so by having that Encyclopedia Dramatica page take it down so that I can feel more comfortable in drawing and coloring the comics that y'all have grown to love.
Chris explains that he has been emailing the creator of the ED page and attempts to redirect the hatred he's received.
If you want to send all your complaints for me not doing the work that I should be doing, you could send every last complaint to the one called Jason Kendrick Howe, also known as Howe Games or Liquid Snake. He is the dork of ages y'all should be sending every last complaint and hater toward right out upon him. Send him every last email you can. Shower him with as much hate as possible until that Encyclopedia Dramatica page is taken down along with him. And that's for you, Jason Kendrick Howe. As sure as I am to get at least 1 ounce of vagina, I have your number and you're going down.
On August 8th, the Encyclopedia Dramatica became overwhelmed due to an increase in traffic, causing the site to temporarily go down. Believing that his call to action a few days earlier had succeeded, Chris provided another video to thank his true and honest fans.
Ladies and gentlemen on the internet, to all the SciTube fans, I am pleased to announce that the Encyclopedia Dramatica, not only the webpage, but the whole freaking website's going down. And to make sure it definitely goes down and stays down, do not, and I repeat, do not donate any money to that website. Especially if you want to see the more adventures of SciTube that I am conjuring up in my mind and drawing up.
As a reward for his fans, Chris reads out a comedy sketch he planned on including in his next SciTube comic, giving Seth MacFarlane, creator of Family Guy, permission to use the sketch.
Whoosh! Woohoo! Let's go, Ghostbusters! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, Ghostbusters! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Do 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 do. Let's go, Ghostbusters! Let's go! And there you go. Family Guy joke to look forward to in the next episode, which will get on the internet soon enough. But mostly only if that webpage goes down. So keep on not donating it and encouraging everybody else to keep the money in their wallets as well. You can save that money for the PBS stations, keep the British comedy going. Alright, y'all take care. Peace out. Allow me to make it perfectly clear about who I am, so that I am not misunderstood erroneously with the internet that's against me. My name is Christian Weston Chandler, high-functioning autistic artist. I am kind, caring, empathetic, emotional, a good friend, a loyal friend, cautious and weary, trustworthy, mostly honest. I do not like to lie. I am a caring, emotional, feeling, heterosexual human being, and I should be treated equally and respected as such. I am not a monster.